Hey everyone, in my previous video I showed you a realignment exercise where you can prioritize your time, energy, and mental capacity towards the more important things of your life, such as your goals and your intentions. For that video, I mainly showed you the concept and how to do it on paper, but if you know me, I love Notion. I organize my whole life around that application, and so in this video I'm going to show you how you can do it on Notion with the template I provided that you can check out in the link down below. If you want to do the exercise with me, make sure you have a Notion account so you can duplicate the template. Let's dive in. So here is the realignment exercise template. Here you would have to duplicate this template into your own account. This will create a whole new copy into your own Notion workspace. So make sure you have that Notion account and make sure you just duplicate it, or else you won't be able to access it at all. So here is my whole copy. I'm going to go in the first section, which is the intentions and goals. Now, the intentions and goals, these could be things that you've been meaning to do since the very beginning of the new year, or these are things that you decide to pursue right now. So I will fill this out one by one, and I'll just write down the intention or goals that I have personally. So for the first one, I'm going to create some meaningful relationships with like-minded people. In the second one, I want to grow Kurative Co. and intentional creator. And this is my business that I created about a year ago now. It's been about a year. And I started a community for creators and entrepreneurs. Third thing, the third goal or intention that I have is to strengthen my relationships with loved ones. And this is more like friends, family, significant other, and all of those people. And the last one will be personal growth, maintain physical and mental health. And as the fifth one, I have the miscellaneous life responsibilities. These are things that I basically have to do. For you, it could be taking care of your kids, it could be your work, it could be something that technically you didn't really choose to do, but you know it's a priority. So this is more of a catch-all. Again, make sure you don't default everything into this bucket because that could be dangerous and you'll have too many responsibilities that you actually don't want to prioritize. So after I have all these intentions and goals, I'm going to add why I do it. And this really strengthens the importance of your intention or goal. So I highly recommend that you think about whether these intentions are really meaningful and why. If you realize you can't really find out an answer to it, then that's a question that you have to ask yourself. Is this really something that you want to pursue? Is this some goal that's really yours, or is it someone else's? So I'm going to fill mine out right now. To further relationships with like-minded people where I feel more authentic and myself. This one, to help people live and work with intention while focusing on their mental health. Here, of course, to strengthen the foundational relationships for the rest of my life. And here, to continue my year and beyond without any issues. So this could be physical issues like ailments. I have back problems and stuff like that, or mental health. Mental health is very important. I'm a huge advocate for maintaining your mental health and prioritizing it. So this is definitely something that's very important to me. All right, and that is the first section. I have all of my intentions or goals. I have why does this matter to me, and it seems to be solidified that I really care about these things. So after that, you now have to go down to the second section, which are your priorities and activities. And this is more of just at the beginning listing out everything that you're doing. You don't have to sift through, or you don't have to filter out the things that aren't important to you yet. Just think about what are the activities that you do now, and we will get to whether it aligns with any of your intentions or goals later on. But for now, think about throughout the week, throughout the month, what do you do during that time? What do you do in a day? If you need help trying to figure out what you actually do, you can check out your calendar. If you have a planner, check that out, and just list it all out. I have 20 rows here, but if you need more, you can do more. So let's get that sorted. So the first one is family, friends, significant other, Kurative Co, business, We have the communities that I join. I'm in part of several communities. Some are more active in others, so I will list them all out. Bento Society, SYP community. All right, let's just go with this. And if I feel like I need to add more, or I realize that I missed something, I'll just add it later. But this is a good enough list for now. And so I will go through this list and I will go through the next column. And the next column is this related intention or goal. And what we're trying to do here is trying to align these priorities or activities with an intention or goal. And you may not have one that really aligns, and that will kind of tell you exactly whether it's important or not. So this is going to be a first pass. It should be pretty obvious to you. If it's not, you can come back to it. So here I have strengthen relationship with loved ones. Same goes for here. Significant other, loved ones, of course. So this is kind of, can get a little tedious, but it will be really meaningful, I promise. Reading fiction. So reading fiction, for me, initially I thought it was all about work, but now I realize just adding something fun like reading fiction or watching something that I really enjoy really gets my mind off of the stresses and just really taking a break and resting. So I'm going to add this into maintain physical and mental health. Therapy, of course, mental health. Music shows. So music shows is an example. It could really strengthen my relationship with loved ones, like, just hanging out with people. But I feel like this time, with all of the priorities I have today, I don't think that it's really going to strengthen my relationship with loved ones anymore. I love music shows, don't get me wrong, but this time is not going to really meet an intention or goal. So I'm going to leave that blank. Cooking. Now cooking, I hate cooking, I'll be honest. I don't really enjoy it, but just living in a house with other people, cooking for the family, for the house, really helps me kind of strengthen my relationship with my loved ones. So I'm going to add that as strengthen my relationships. Now, you'll see that in this sort of list and in this exercise, there are things that align with your intention or goal, but you may not really enjoy it. So we'll get to that, don't worry. Paying bills. Paying bills is a great example of the miscellaneous life responsibilities. And so I will add that into here. And it's more of like a placeholder, right? These are like the things you can't really ignore. And coffee every morning. The next column is asking me, does this excite me? So even though these activities align with some sort of intention or goal, the real question is, does it excite me? Is this something I look forward to, or is this something that I always dread every time I have to do this activity? So again, go through all of the items that you have listed and make sure it really excites you. If it excites you, put a check mark. If not, just leave it blank. As you can see, I keep saying yes to all of these. Don't worry, some of them I don't really enjoy, and you'll see at the bottom. Cooking, that does not excite me for the most part, so I'm going to say no. Paying bills, no. Coffee every morning, yes. All right, so that's done. We're almost there. This past halfway through. The next column is about, does it add any value? And this is something more of like, does it add to the intention or goal that you set? Does it really add value to your life? I would think that even though there's some things that doesn't excite you, it actually adds value. And you will see, for example, like cooking, it doesn't seem to excite me, but it adds value because, one, it helps me understand more of what ingredients I'm putting into my meals. I get to save money and I get to eat as healthy as possible. That's an example for cooking. I would say, yes, it adds value, even though it does not excite me. So I'm going to go through this list and I'm going to just see if it really adds value to me and my intentions or goals. I feel very aligned with all of the activities that I do. I feel like they really align with my intentions or goals. So for the most part, you will see me say, yes, it adds value to me. But for you, it's okay if it doesn't seem to be as clear as it is for me. Going through this exercise is already the first step forward into making sure that you're aligned with your goals and intentions. So don't worry if you don't see a lot of check marks on here. Morning pages, yes, totally adds value. Walking outside adds value. Cooking adds value. Paying bills, sure, it adds value. And coffee, yeah. So for the most part, I think music show is the only thing that did not add value. So the last final thing is to go through this frequency and I think this is a very important one because even though it adds value, even though it excites you, there has to be a balance. Say you don't like work. So, I said Kurative Co., which is my business. I enjoy work. But if you don't really enjoy it, it still needs to be done. Or if you don't like the chores or you don't like doing these things that you have to do, for the most part, mix in all the things that you enjoy, mix things that excite you, that add value to you. When your energy goes down, you can put yourself back up with an activity that you like. So in this last column, you can specify the frequency of how often you want to do this sort of activity or how often you want to prioritize these sort of people. And going through this list will give you a better understanding. And yeah, so let's get started. There's this almost always, sometimes, only when I'm feeling well, kind of like this is something that I can drop if I'm feeling very low or feeling like sick or anything like that. Automate, delegate are things that I can just hand it off to some sort of automated system, or I can delegate it to someone, and rarely should be something that you really don't want to do that often. You should only do it when you really have to. So I'm just going to go through this list. So friends, sometimes I cannot see my friends every single day. That there's no way I can do that. I'm naturally an introvert, so it makes sense that I want to do this sometimes so I can recharge my energies. And same goes with family. I live with my girlfriend, so almost always. Kurative Co., almost always. Bento Society. So Bento Society, I am a contributor to the community, and I currently participate in sort of in the team. So I'm going to say almost always. Same with SYP community, and these two communities, NestLab and Master YouTube, I'm only going to do it when I feel well. I do enjoy these communities, and I think that I'm aligned to them, but they're not something that I'm actively participating in. So I'm going to say only when I'm feeling well for both of them. For the newsletter, almost always, pretty much I enjoy it, and I've been releasing every week for over a year. So I'm going to continue to do this. I really enjoy it. Music shows, rarely. Paying my bills. This is something where you can automate with your bank or with your financial institution, whatever it is, and just not worry about it. If that's something that you're interested in learning more about on how to automate your finances, and you can focus on other things that are more important to you, let me know in the comments down below. And lastly, coffee every morning, almost always. And that's it. So now you have all of this. You can see that all of these activities are linked to the intentions and goals table, and that's great. So now you ask the question, with all of this data, what do I do next? Now you can look at your exercise and compare it with your calendar, with your planner, and just see if you're really aligned and you're really prioritizing what's important to you. You can adjust your schedule, add new things, remove some things. Make sure your frequency is actually aligned with how often you're doing a certain activity. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer to do this exercise on paper or on Notion, and if you really like this video or not. If you want to try it yourself, don't forget to duplicate the Notion template. You can check out the link to get started. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.